Welcome. I got the opportunity today to talk to a very dynamic individual, a very inspiring individual, and a wise young man. My brother here, I met a while ago, and he's probably known about me a little bit longer than I known about him because I'm a few years older than him. But he's never failed to inspire me anytime we've been able to connect, have a conversation, and I'm just extremely honored to share my gift with him, which is just knowing God, being aware of God, and then being able to see God in other people. And from the first time I truthfully connected with this man, I saw God in him right away. And I loved it. It was like he pulled something out of me every single time we talked. And it doesn't matter where we met, just know every single time I seen him, God was like, yo, like, there he go. And I was like, wow, like, all right, like no matter if I was short on time or nothing, I always wanted to stop and have a word with my brother. And so without further ado, we got my brother Armoni Bashay.
What's poppin'?
Come on, man. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man.
Doing good. Man, it's good to see you today.
It's great to see you, man.
Man, I love it.
Yes, sir.
Now, one thing I like to start this out with is I always like to ask, how are you doing today emotionally?
Emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
at the moment, stable.
Stable.
Emotionally stable at the moment, yeah.
Okay. What does stable look like to you? What does that feel like to you?
Calm, tapped in with my emotions.
Yeah.
Knowing how I'm feeling at this particular moment.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I like that. And my follow-up question always is, based off of your understanding or conceptualization of God, how do you think God is doing today emotionally?
That's a good question.
Yes, sir.
How is God doing today emotionally? I would say amazing.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yes, sir.
All the positives.
Yes, sir.
So my other follow-up question to that then is, based off of where you're at emotionally and your concept of where God is at emotionally, do you feel like there's any space in between where you're at emotionally and where God is at emotionally?
At the moment, no.
I love that. I love that. Give me a moment recently where you felt like there was space between God doing amazing and Armoni not doing amazing.
I would say probably a couple of days ago, when you're just feeling down.
Yeah.
You kind of don't know what to do, don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just talking to God, like asking him for, to guide your steps and just feel, how you should feel.
Yeah.
How he wants you to feel.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't pinpoint a certain moment, but I know a couple of days ago I wasn't feeling that same connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said you pretty much like communicated with him.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that communication look like for you when you can tell that there's some space in between your emotional state and God's all the time stable emotional state, which is always knowing, omniscient, everywhere, got the answers? How did you necessarily, what does it look like for Armoni to close that gap emotionally when you go communicate with God? What's some of that language and what's the experience like, if you could bring us into that?
Experience-wise, I would really just sit down, try to calm myself, calm my emotions, breathe. Ask him, like I said, like, please guide my steps. Give me the wisdom, knowledge, right divine timing. If things need to happen, please let them happen. If things don't need to happen, please don't let them happen. Please, allow me to know where to put myself in certain positions and places to be able to have the best outcome, on my day, and the best outcome to obviously project, okay, boom, God-fearing, like, what's from myself, like, for myself. So I know that. So I know he's walking with me.
I love that. So we're going to get to step into our first segment. And our first segment is the identity and purpose segment. Now, I sent you a list of pre-interview questions. And so I got to take those questions and kind of formulate our structure today. In the pre-interview questions, you mentioned that God is showing you things that you're good at. What has surprised you the most about yourself and what you're good at in this season of discovery?
I feel like what surprised me the most is, it's kind of not really surprising, maybe to some, but that I can actually do it. Like, 'cause I always ask him, like, show me what I'm good at. Show me what I can do, what you want me to do, what will fulfill me for, for the glory of God, of course. So like when he's showing me, that I can go out and I could cut somebody's hair, or set up like we were setting up the camera, like just knowing angles and things like that, taking a picture, shooting content, things like that. It just surprises me that it's like, okay, it just, first of all, it surprises me that he's actually showing me. Because when you ask for something and he shows you, it's like, oh, thank you.
No,
Thank you. For real.
Thank
It's like, man, like,
yes.
I was asking for this. Like, I'm not gonna lie, even when I first met you, like, when I first met you at your, I think, graduation party, I was like, man, like, I gotta connect with this guy. I gotta see him again. Like, we gotta sit down and talk. Like, I gotta know who this is.
Yeah.
Like, cause your energy was just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I knew, I was like, man, like with Javon, like we know Javon.
Yeah.
Me, him, and you, like we had that energy.
Yeah.
So I just felt it. I was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to link up and just keep going, pushing each other.
See, and that's what I mean. The seed was planted, and oftentimes God plants seeds even without us knowing. And now understand that the devil can do that too, though. And so the devil can plant those seeds. God plants seeds, but God planted us long time ago, whether you knew it or not, whether I knew it or not. And so I'm very grateful that he did bring us, because every single time we've connected, I felt his presence every single time. And I want to be very hyper aware of the people that you can feel their presence and you know who's behind them, who's within them. And I just want you to know, I know God is moving you and inside of you. And if you're coming around me, I know you're bringing God with you. So I'm very grateful.
Yes, sir.
Very grateful. And based on that question, I do have a follow-up, because going back to it, again, you did mention that he's showing you things that you're good at. Can you just even name some of the things off the top of your head that you know you're good at, that it doesn't matter who it's serving if you know it's serving him? So what are things that you're good at that you know you can do to serve God?
One thing I would say, shooting content.
I love that.
Having an eye for, background placement, or for what someone should do within like a clip or within a picture. Like it's amazing, like to get those, some people call them downloads.
Yeah.
So like get those downloads of, okay, like I need you to do this. Let's get a good clip. And even what surprised me really is barbering, because well, I'm not really a barber, but
you got that in the bag.
Yeah, I got that in the bag. Yeah. So it's like, even just being able to do that and progress, like, because I've been cutting my own hair for 6+ years.
Wow.
So to cut somebody else and see like, okay, they actually like it, that's amazing.
That's beautiful too. The two things that you mentioned, I love them, because the first one is, content, and not just the content itself, but the director, the producer version of content, right? You obviously are great in front of the camera, but you're also great behind the camera. And I think that's really important, because if you have the skill set to, first of all, tune into God's word, and he's like, make it go like this. And you're like, make it go like this. You just get to be a conduit, you know what I mean? A tunnel, a force, you get to be that tunnel for God's vision. So it's like God gets to come to you and provide you the instructions that you now get to give to somebody else. And you're like, this what, and you can say, hey, this what you should do. But really, it's like, this what God wants you to do. I can feel it. This what God wants you to do. So you even set up our camera angle today. You set up our camera angle today.
Yes, sir.
It looked good.
Yeah.
It looked good. So that's what's up. And then the barbering too, I think that's huge, because you have the ability, you carry inside of you the skill set to make somebody look better, feel better, and perform better.
Yeah.
That's huge. So anytime you feel, I just want to give a little bit, anytime you feel separate emotionally from God, and oftentimes we feel separate from God when we are out of service. You feel me? But because he gave you so many different skills that you can serve, the moment you feel separate, start asking yourself, what skill sets do I have in my bag that I can offer the world? What skill sets do I have in my bag that I can serve you and love people with? Because with those skill sets, I'll get back in connection. Because, you know, like I asked you to be here as my guest on my interview podcast, but you also delivered your skill set by making sure the shot was right. You know, you made sure that, hey, if I needed to get a little lineup, you would have been like, yo, I got you real quick just to make sure. And I appreciate that. That's huge. So another question, okay? So we're in the identity and purpose section, okay? Also, in your pre-interview questions, you mentioned that you're becoming a better man and you're focused on becoming a better man, okay? So the question is, as someone whose mission is to become a better man, I want to know, what does that actually look like to you in action? Not just mindset, but daily habits and character. What does it look like for you to actually say, I am in alignment with the process of becoming a better man? Talk to me.
I would say getting up, setting goals, and getting to them. Because I mean, I haven't been the best at that. So finding my goals and trying to knock them down is just like, that's for me becoming better. Because like I was thinking about this the other day. Like, you know, different people have different views of success. So like being a better man would be like one of my success like factors. Just being disciplined, being on top of my, you know, A game, doing what I got to do, waking up, boom, make my bed, brush my teeth, you know, do my push-ups, and then do whatever else I got to do that day. So just trying to be the best I can, really. Yeah.
What are 3 daily activities that you take when it comes down to being a better man? Just 3. The best 3 that you could think of.
I haven't been doing this lately.
Talk to me.
But I've gotten back into it a little bit. Writing down my goals, like I said, knocking them down. Working on my communication. Communication is one thing that I'm trying to get better at. You know, as a man, we got to be able to communicate and let people know, okay, what's going on, things like that. And wait, repeat the question one more time.
I got you.
Please?
What are 3 things or 3 activities that you can perform each day for you that fit your archetype of, this is Armoni as a better man, this is Armoni as not a better man? What are the 3 guaranteed that fit that archetype of better man Armoni?
Okay. So I would say drinking water. Drinking water, writing down my goals. And some type of, I don't know if intuitive is the right word, but some type of progression download. So like, you know, you get out what you put in. So some type of good content, good music, good ingestion.
Yo, I got to comment on this. So I created a reality creation course, a reality creation program. And the premise of it is, we live in a 3-story house. The top floor is your conscious mind. The middle floor is your subconscious mind. The bottom floor is your unconscious mind. It is my firm belief as a human being, it is my firm belief that it is who we are at the unconscious level and what we believe we are at the unconscious level that dictates everything that we do. And so I believe there's the truth and the lie. There's the unconscious truth and there's the unconscious lie. The world wants you to believe in the unconscious lie. And the lie is, you're separate from God, you're separate from your goals, you're separate from the things that you desire. The truth is, you're never separate from God, you're never separate from your goals, and you're never separate from the things that you desire. You're always with them, and they already exist. And so what I desire to do is, anytime I see anybody struggling, I really have to understand why. I understand that because the main thing you mentioned was some sort of progression download, meaning the only thing that you have control over in this 3-story house is the top floor. That is the only thing you as a human being have control over, is the top floor, which is your conscious mind, which is everything you intake through your eyes, ears, mouth, touch, and everything else. You know, and the more you control what you intake, what you ingest consciously, the better that second floor and third floor will be. The cleaner it'll be. Because you got to think, when you see an amazing athlete do something crazy in the blink of an eye, that could not have happened with conscious thought, because conscious thought is too slow. So that means that person has worked on it consciously to the point to where it's sunk down from the top level to the middle level. And now it can just happen a little bit easier. But until it hits that third unconscious level, it'll never happen at the speed and the velocity that it can. Okay? And so I love that you said, what's going to help me be a better man is having some sort of conscious progressive download every day. Why? Because more and more and by, my house, my state of being house, where I reside, no matter what's going on, is going to be having the furniture that I want. Beliefs are furniture in your house. Do you believe in infinite possibility or limited possibility? Do you believe in practical possibility or astronomical possibility? If you can get to the point of astronomical potential and possibility, anything can happen. There's no limitation on the amount of money I can earn, the amount of people I can serve, the amount of production I can have on this earth. Then unconsciously you're going to do things that are going to make other people a little bit uncomfortable because they don't have that same belief in themselves. And that's okay.
Facts.
I appreciate you. If you need to join that reality creation program, I started a community as well. We could talk about that later.
Yo.
Feel me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. Now, last question in the identity and purpose section. Again, all of these questions are going off of your answers to the pre-interview. Okay. You said modeling, sports, and creativity shaped you into somebody people want to see win. Now, I really want to pause on that for a second, because these are identities that we associate with ourselves, that we say, because I can identify with this identity and the world can see me as this is what makes me valuable. But you are infinite. So even the levels that people deem you as valuable, there's more. So I'll say it again. You said modeling, sports, and creativity shaped you into somebody people want to see win. What do you think people see in you today? And what are you working on seeing in yourself today? So we can start with the first half. What do you think people see in you now? Especially with you going into the Air Force to be an airman, and to your first job is going to be, ground transportation. That's not modeling. That's not sports. That's barely creativity. So how do you think people see you now when you step into that realm? And then we're going to have a second half of how do you see yourself. So first half that.
I would say I honestly don't know, but I know the ones around me are proud that they're proud of me.
Yeah.
Because even without those things, they're still proud of me, and I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
So to have those type of people around me, that's amazing, because I know there's some people, some people get out of sports, some people get out of, if it was modeling, some people get out of those things, and then they don't have anything to connect with and like grab onto and be like, okay, I am this. When you don't need to I am this, because you have yourself, like, and the people who love you are going to be proud of you regardless. So I mean, once you know you have that, then it's like, okay, I mean, I just got to figure out what I like, what I want to do, and people who rocking with me, they love me, they're gonna be proud of me. I can accept that.
I like that.
So
thank you for that. I like that. And then for that second half of that question, because sometimes what we do as people, we cling to identities that made us valuable to other people in the past. And so you've done sports your entire life. Again, I've seen you modeling on Instagram. I've seen you modeling, like, I see what you got going on, and you're a creative individual, okay? But now that you're stepping into maybe a little bit, stepping into the armed forces, obviously we know comes with a little bit of structure outside of maybe our norm. So I want to know, with you stepping into this new structure of life in about a couple weeks, how do you see yourself as you go into that, and what do you see for yourself going through that?
Mm. Right now, for myself, I'm proud of myself to even be able to take this kind of leap of faith, to be able to go out and try to do something for myself, better my life, set things up, and kind of like where I see myself is in there setting my future up for myself first and foremost, and then my family down the line. So just building, really.
Yeah.
Whole lot of
I
building.
actually see a strong foundation you're building too, with you joining, the armed forces, especially the Air Force. Again, we kind of had a pre-conversation about it. We got paper coming in, we got benefits coming in, and being able to, have that tenure, no matter how long it is, whether it's 4 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's a foundation of experience that you get to offer as a man to your wife and to your kids and to your family and to your community. And so how excited are you to become this person, and because we know who you are already, and we know what you're even going to grow into. How excited are you to walk those steps as the man, the myth, the legend of Armoni Bashay, who's about to be the greatest dad, the greatest husband, the greatest community member, and the greatest, you feel me, airman up in that mug, you feel me? How does that feel, bro?
Man, I'm excited because kind of like I said earlier, like when you ask God for something and he shows you, like one thing I'm trying to learn too is to not take anything for granted.
Yeah.
Because I can recall sometimes, I've done that. So when I ask God for something, I want to be able to get that and live it, like live through it, live by it, and be grateful for what I have. So, I mean, we grown, we building, we getting there.
Yeah.
So when I get there, most definitely that's most likely how I'm gonna feel. Just grateful, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I pray that you can already imagine yourself being this upstanding, tall, like, I know you tall now, but in spirits, you're going to be even taller, and I want you to, when you're, going into the unknown, I'll say, when you're going into the unknown, you're going into unknown circumstances, unknown environments, unknown responsibilities. I want you to still know that God already knows. And so even though it might be unknown to you, it's not unknown to him. And you get to trust in that, and you get to grow into that. And the shoes may be this big, you know what I mean? Because you're a giant inside. And you can walk that knowing that today I look small, but God, I'm huge. You feel me? Today I might look small. I might look 6'2". You know what I'm saying? But I guarantee you I'm 70 million feet tall, because that's how tall he is. And he's already laid my path out for me. So never be scared. Always trust in him. Please love that journey, okay? I'm proud of you too. Give me love.
Yes, sir.
I'm very proud of you, okay?
Likewise.
Now we're gonna step a little bit into a little bit of faith and spirituality. Okay, if you need anything, you let me know.
Okay.
But again, so you said you're in constant communication with God. Very simply, what does that look like in real life? Does that look like you just taking a moment, closing your eyes, going inside? Or what does that look like for Armoni to be in constant communication with God, even when other people are around?
I mean, it's regular. Like even just then when you said that, I just told God, thank you. Like, thank you for this moment. Like to be able to, share what we shared and what we're about to share.
Yeah.
And give me the words to even do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it's in my head really. Like I sit, communicate, and just tap in really. Like
Tap in.
Just tap in with, just tap in with him, man.
Yeah.
Just, that's all I can say. Like,
Yeah.
just sit and talk, and he'll listen.
Type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll listen.
I
man.
love that.
He'll listen.
I love that. And
Yeah.
then let me know this. How do you handle the moments where you hear, my bad, I had to burp, nigga.
Oh, you straight.
Tell me this though. Tell me this, because I like this one, because this is a spinoff of the same. Okay. You said something too. You said he in my head. Remember that.
Okay.
How do you handle the moments where you hear but don't feel ready to act? He gave the instruction. He was up there. Armoni, you got it. Let's go. But in your heart, you're like, man. What I want to know is, how do you handle those moments? Those moments where he told you to go, and in your heart, you wasn't ready to go. How do you handle those moments?
I ask him for the strength, the wisdom, the courage, the knowledge to do whatever he's telling me to do, so I can do it correctly. And yeah, like if there's something that needs to be done, shoot, ask him to give me those things. Yeah.
Shoot.
No, feel it. Hey, you gotta just ask and it shall be given.
I have a huge question too. Same spinoff.
Okay.
How long does it take you to act when you get an instruction but you don't feel ready to act? Talk to me. How long does it take you to act? You're not hearing me. No, I'm playing. No.
Y'all better listen.
How long does it take you to act when you get those divine instructions but don't feel ready?
Man, I couldn't even tell you that. Like, it's just, it's crazy too, because some things God will bring right to your door. Some things you'll be like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. But then some things God is just gonna be like, hey, it's here. It's here. You, especially like when you ask him for the courage, the wisdom, knowledge to do these things. He's like, hey, it's here. I'm gonna need you to do that. Like, it could be a minute. Yeah. It could be a second. Like, you never know. Like, so I mean, I can't really give it a timestamp, but
I like it.
It comes, most definitely.
I love the question topic, so I have another spin-off on it.
Yep.
Basically, because every experience does come with a different level of intensity, right? Every new unknown isn't the same level of fear. Trying a new food is different than going to the military.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You can choose that. So I guess I want to know when, let's say like this, when you get exposed to a direction that is intense and comes with a lot of we're gonna moment on that, because I feel that. I'll say this, okay, because you're right. Let me know this. When was the last time you consciously had to show up to that hard decision and you kept putting it off? Like, like, I probably should break up with her. I'm not gonna lie. I probably should, get that job. I'm not gonna lie. What was the last time that it took you longer than you feel like it should have? So hopefully that makes sense. When was the last time you feel like it took you longer than it should have to act on the instructions?
Yeah. Man. I don't know about the last time.
Right.
But it's been so many things. But I can give you a time.
Give me one.
Enrolling for college. We got moms in the ear.
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
Hey, go back to school. I go back to school. This is after COVID. So it's like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to go back to where I was going to school at, or do I want to transfer? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Do I want to work? You never know. Like, so that took a minute. Like, that took, I don't know how long, at least over 4 or 5 months to be able to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going back. Like, I'm gonna do this. But I mean, that wasn't my full way, but even just to make that decision and be like, okay, like, hey, because I feel like God, when he wants you to do something, he'll keep it on your mind. Like, you'll wake up and just be thinking about it. Yeah. Like, you could be doing something random, you'll just be thinking about it. Yeah. Like, so, and if it keeps popping up, then that's something like that he obviously needs you to do. Yeah. So doing that, I feel like that was probably one of those times. It took me a minute. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of them.
And you ended up going to school, right? After that, like, and then after the school, you was like, yeah, now I'm gonna go to the Air Force. That's fire. I like that. I like that. I appreciate that too.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Now we're still in the faith and spirituality question. Okay. Now this one is, you mentioned that God doesn't always hand you blessings. You've got to meet him halfway. You got to meet him halfway. What's an example of a moment you had to move first before the blessing showed up, instead of him just bringing it right to the door? Kind of similar to that last one, but still even a little bit deeper, a little different angle.
Yeah.
So I can ask it again too if you need.
Oh, no.
Perfect.
Like, I can't give you a specific moment, but I can tell you, like, there's days where I wanted to do something or go somewhere or, you know, or just have a really good day. Like, and it must be God, because he'll be talking, he'll be like, hey, get up and get ready. Like, go take a shower, go do this, go do that, clean your room. Boom, then somebody hit me up. Hey, you wanna go do this? You wanna go do that? And it's like, okay, I moved. If I wouldn't have moved, I probably would have missed the text message. I probably would have missed the phone call. But I'm up and moving now. So it's like, okay, when I'm moving, like, okay, he can kind of like go within the universe and be like, hey, okay, we're gonna make this happen for you. So like, I feel like that movement and just listening to yourself is very important.
That hit me because you're like, if I get in motion, he gonna start getting in motion too. And he's always in motion, but when you're already in motion, it's easier for him to put things in your path instead of bringing them all the way. You know, it's like you're already moving. Okay, Armoni's already up. He brushed his teeth, washed his face. For me, he made his bed. All he got to do is put his shoes on. If I send him this text right now, he's ready to go in 30. Max.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he'll beat her in 30 because it's 15 away.
Yeah.
You feel me? So
Yeah.
I like that. And so I want to really touch on the fact that there's things in our lives that if we just start moving towards. Like right now, I got 74 subscribers. Understanding that this could be looked at in two ways. I started at 0.
Facts.
0. Now we at 74.
Yeah.
And I'm in motion, and now I got content themes where it's like, now he's like, okay, I know who I want him to interview. I thought about you mad randomly.
Heard you.
That wasn't like, yep, who I got on the schedule. No, I'm like, who really can I connect with next that I know he's connected to? And he told me you. Do you know I know a lot of people?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people.
Yep.
High and low, left and right, east and west. You came to the forefront confidently on my brain, and as soon as he said Armoni Bashay, I went straight to text you. And you said, bet, let's do it. And we're here 3 days later.
Yes, sir.
Jesus rose in 3 days. But I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there though. But I'm very grateful because I did kind of piggybacking off the question. I moved before I had a subscriber. I started interviewing people that I knew I had access to.
Facts.
And then he started being like, yep, cool, you're in motion now? Bet, I got some people I want you to step in with. And I like that, so I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Great to see you growing too,
come
man.
on now, baby.
Hey.
Oh, my drink.
I seen it, man.
You seen it?
I seen it.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
It spilled. That muff good though. You need a sip? You want a drink?
Oh yeah, let me grab my drink real quick.
Yeah, man. That's the brief intermission. I think this would be a good moment for me to throw in a segment or something. Now, we're not sponsored, but I might as well, you feel me, put it out there, you know, as a reality creation coach, personal trainer, college athlete, you know, bachelor's degree in psychology, mindset coaching, and things like that, you know, I got a community growing. And so this experience here, I want to be able to have these heart-to-hearts with more people and make more people feel seen. So that's why we're here right now, interviewing real people, going through real things. My man, he's headed to the Army. He's headed to the Air Force. He's headed to the Air Force. That's very new. You know, for a black man coming from Tacoma, Washington, been around freedom and sports and handsome, so he's been around the freedom of women and X, Y, and Z. For him to choose structure, I want to make sure he's highlighted in that decision. I want to make sure you're seen for that decision. And even if we get 2 views on this video, I want you to know I see you and we created a video and we took the time out to really make sure we had a conversation and a discussion about what you're about to go to. And I want everybody to be able to have the opportunity to feel seen. I might not get to everybody, but I do want you to know you deserve to feel seen for what you're going through. So, we're proud of you no matter what. Last question, last question in the faith and spirituality standpoint. How has your definition of church evolved? Talk to me, because there's a couple parts of this question. So first, I just want to know that. How has your definition of church evolved?
I got introduced to this new church, and they say something almost at the end of every service. They say, church isn't just a place you go. You are the church. So when the congregation walks out, it's like, okay, go be what God wants you to be.
Yeah.
And kind of like where two or more are gathered, like that's church. Like God's with us right now. Like this church right here.
This church right here.
Like, man, like
this church right here.
This church right here.
It's fire.
So, I mean, so it evolved from just being, okay, this is a place that I go to. Like, this is the building. Like, that's church. Like, no, like, it's more than that. It's a lifestyle, kind of. No one's perfect, but I mean, it's definitely a lifestyle to, be within the church. And like, I feel like it kind of comes like energy wise, you can tell, like when I see you and when you see me, like we know, like, okay, boom, yeah, I can see God, like most definitely. So I feel like that's where my shift was. It's not just a place you go to and praise just there.
Yeah.
Like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a comment on that too. I think the more you worship, it doesn't even have to be that word. The more you bring your consciousness to even the thoughts of God, outside of church, outside of X, Y, and Z, the more our mind turns from money, cars, taxes to God, the more his presence is able to actually expose itself through you, dwell within you, right? But I think the more you're focused, because we talked about the 3-story house, right? When your conscious mind turns and focuses on God, the whole house gets to be infused with God, the smell of God, the sight of God, the thoughts of God, the abundance of God. But when your conscious mind is focused on this illusionary realm, like this body that you're in, this body that I'm in, is not real. It's not even solid like we think. It's vibrating at massive amounts of, speeds, but at a rate to where it looks solid. You feel me? But ain't nothing solid about this body. You look still, but your body is moving blood and your heart's pumping and I can't see it. But with the knowledge that I know God is animating this body, like people are going to see us, again, 2 handsome black men. But if you can't see past this physical vessel to see I'm being animated by something, and depending on what is coming out of my mouth is what is animating me. If you just hear me talking about, you know what I mean? And you feel me? And I'm on just another type of time, like we chasing chicken and whoopty whoopty, like you know who's dwelling in me, but you also know what I'm focused on. Oh, we about to chase this chicken today. What does that mean? You know what I mean? That's all I'm gonna say.
Very good.
So I'm gonna say this because there's a spinoff to that same question. How do you carry the presence of God into places most people wouldn't expect him to be? I just want to ask it again. It's because I liked it. I liked it. How do you carry the presence of God into places most people wouldn't expect him to be? That's a good ass question. I wrote that down.
Man, how do you carry God into places people wouldn't expect him to be?
Yep, the presence of God. Yep.
How you carry the presence of God into places people wouldn't expect him to be? Man. Boom. I'm gonna say this. kind of how you saw me in the gym one day. And honestly, I don't know how you saw it, but you seen it. It was there, but it kind of wasn't. But you walked up to me, you know, we said what's up and everything, whoop-de-whoop. And then you said, thanks for bringing that light today. I was like, huh. He was like, yeah, I see you in here. Thanks for bringing the light today.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like, you know, seeing a young black man bring that light.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I would never thought like someone in the gym could see that. Like, but I mean, I understand. For me, I understand because it kind of takes one to know one, to see one.
Right.
Kind of like real, recognize real type deal. So I feel like you just, I feel like you don't try, but you just carry them. Like, you just carry that presence.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, like when you just have that presence, like it's gonna show.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be there. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You just carry them, really.
I wanna touch on that right there. And what I want to touch on is this: people are only gonna see you for the level of how they see themselves. Okay, and so because your frequency, your thought form is on God, I don't need to see or read God on your physical vessel. Why? Because my mind is on God too. And so based off of where my thoughts are at and where your thoughts are at, I'm able to pick up on that thought frequency that you're on. Okay, cool. But somebody else, because your normal gym experiences, I'm gonna step up in here, I look good, I'm gonna get this workout in. They gonna see me, but they gonna see me for my physical. I'm not even my physical, but they gonna see me for my physical, and then they're gonna see me for how they deem me, how they see themselves, what they're thinking about themselves. So if this is an out of shape person, they're gonna see me for, oh damn, he's really in shape. Like, I wish I was like him. If it was an in shape person, it's like, I see you. You feel me? We be doing the same stuff, right? If it's a girl, you know, she gonna be like, is that a potential partner? He look healthy. You know what I'm saying? He look handsome, he tall, right? But if it's a fellow God, all of that dissipates. I see the God in you. I see the infinite in you. You know what I mean? I don't see the limited vessel. This can only do so much. You only gonna be able to lift so much weight eventually. I don't know if you're trying to get to the 150-pound dumbbells on each side or 250s. But either way, it ain't gonna matter.
No.
It don't. But what does matter is the unlimited version of yourself. It's that mind, it's that heart, it's that spirit that can lift and move. Bro, you go to the gym, you might do tricep cable push downs with the 80s, but your mind can move the mountain that is worth billions of pounds. I think that's my biggest thing. I would rather see you for what you're truthfully capable of and what your mind and your spirit can truthfully do rather than what your body can do. Your body can do nothing compared to what that mind and that heart can do. I would rather see you for that.
Yeah.
I prefer for somebody to see me for that, but I can't control that because I don't control what they focus on outside of me. I can't control that. So just understand that you do have that, but the validation of that is only going to come from somebody else who has that. And that's going to be far and few in between. It's going to be a narrow road. It's not going to be a lot. You know, we could be in the gym with 100 people and 2 people might see that light. But those 2 people are worth the infinite of God, while those 100 people are only worth 100 people.
Yeah.
That's a bar. Write that down.
Nah, for real.
You feel me? Okay, so now we're going to step into a little bit of discipline and growth. Just a little bit. You're building your body, your creativity, your professionalism, and even your future family. Okay? That's a full plate. That's a full plate. I want to know, how do you stay focused when everything matters? When there's not something that just simply doesn't matter. It all matters. How do you stay focused? How do you handle each thing?
That's a good question. I'm no dad or anything,
Right.
but like, you know,
Me neither.
we've had times where, you know, you got family, friends, you know, I guess like homework, sports, everything's going on all at once. So nothing's not really important. So I would say just as best as possible, of course, talk to God, ask him for, what should I do next? Ask him, be like, hey man, what should I do next? Like I need to figure out the schedule, like what I got going on, because man, this is a lot. And take everything as it comes, like take everything in stride, like try to be as calm as possible if you can. Talk to somebody. Have someone you can just sit and be like, hey, like I need some help. What do you think? Like, know it's a good person to talk to though.
Yeah.
Don't just go talking to anybody about, everything like that. But sit down, talk, map it out. Because I mean, we've had some talks about, like, even when I told you I was going to the Air Force first time, you asked me a couple things like, okay, like, is this for this reason or that reason? And I was like, man, I had to think about that. Like, so sitting down and, having someone good to just kind of like even just bounce ideas off of and, see another good view of things.
Yeah.
That's a good way as well.
I like that. I appreciate that. I'm excited. We got a new. You still use Carmex?
No, I haven't.
Hey, yo.
No. I usually. hey, let me tell you right now. Let me tell you. Look, I usually use Aquaphor.
Okay.
The time right
now. Did you want some?
I mean,
you already used it now?
Straight now. We straight now. But the times, I had to go to the dollar store.
No, look. That's crazy because my mom found a high school bag of mine, like a gym bag. When I tell you high school was the last time I used Carmex, because it didn't make my lips feel fantastic. I had to keep hitting it. I found this old Carmex. Why did I use it? And I said,
nah, for real. Because I went from Aquaphor to the Carmex, I was like, ooh, weed.
No, look,
no.
It's different.
Yeah.
That's funny. My man, yeah, that's funny. Okay, I got a good question for you right here. You ready? By the way, I know I asked you a lot of questions, but a lot of them have been follow-ups. So that's just how you know shit's just fired.
Yeah.
I told you we had 14 questions.
Okay.
This is question number 8.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how many follow-up questions came from even those initial ones, which is super cool. So number 8 right here, we're in the discipline and growth sector of this interview, okay?
Okay.
So let's talk about self-talk for a second. A little bit of self-talk. And we've been talking about it a lot, so it's kind of like our theme right now. What's something you used to say to yourself that kept you small? Yeah, that kept you small.
I would say sometimes it's not even what you're really saying to yourself. It may be what other people have told you, and that just keeps repeating in your head. Sometimes you gotta like delete. Like you gotta let it go. Letting go of something someone said to you is kind of hard, but trying is the best way. Because if you don't, it's just gonna stay there and keep making you feel small.
Yeah.
So I mean, man, like, I wouldn't even say it's nothing. Maybe I even say to myself just things that are rattling.
That is a huge point, and I want to really emphasize that point. Like you said, most of the time, it's not even your own self-talk. It's somebody else's talk to you that you just repeat. Please understand, you might not even be a negative self-talker, but you might be putting somebody's audio tape on repeat in your head that wasn't even your own. Delete that. Follow up from that is, what's the new dialogue you practice consciously?
Daily affirmation.
What's your favorite? The one that hits home the most?
The one that hit home the most is, it kind of goes along with prayer. My mom would always say it every day before I get out the car. Of course, guide my son's steps. But me being a leader, not a follower, that has been not to tell, more than a conqueror, and able to do all things through Christ. So I mean, those 4 are just, those are my main go-to.
It's huge.
Like I say, and then I have, on my vision board, I got some things, some I ams.
Yeah.
So I am strong, I am worthy, I am, I can, make the sacrifices I need to make, things like that. So just constantly saying those things, they help. I say that.
He went away?
Yeah, it went away.
See, he went away from you kind of quick.
Yeah.
He was by you for a second. He came to me. I thought he came and sat.
Nah. Nah, he went right over your head.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Beautiful. I like those. I think my favorite one for some reason is, I could do all things through Christ. But I think the reason why that one doesn't really hit for some people is because they don't have an intimate relationship with Christ. And then they always externalize Christ. So I think when you externalize, God, or if you externalize Christ, because I used to do that too. So like one thing in this process of the Pearl-Minded Collective and everything like that, I don't want to ever sound hypocritical. I want to make sure people understand I've been, done, and experienced all of these things. And I'm choosing different. And I used to have a hard time connecting with Christ in church and everything of the sort because I always externalized it. It was never something that lived in me or I had access to all the time. And so once I learned how to internalize God and internalize Christ consciousness and internalize the fact that, look, if God is omniscient and God is in me, everything I think and feel and experience inside of this vessel is going to be experienced outside. The fact that I said, God, I know we have something. I know it. Lead me to whoever is supposed to be led to. And then I watch them work. And so being able to realize that you live from inside, and God lives in you and Christ lives in you, and you get to dwell in that place and already know every seed that is planted internally is going to first take root and then blossom and bloom. But it's that take root process when you planted a seed, whether it's the affirmation seed or the thought seed, you already planted the seed. But people aren't really good farmers these days because we don't have to farm nothing. Nobody got to farm nothing. So they don't get farming wisdom and philosophy, which is when you plant that seed in the ground, you know it's in the ground. There's a certain level of excitement and expectation knowing that you put a seed in the ground. Just because somebody comes to visit your farm, which could be your daily life, and they don't see the fruit of the seed, you know the seed is in the ground. They're looking like, where the fruit? You're like, it's in the ground. And just because you can't see it, based on my knowledge of it being in the ground, it's already here. It's where it's supposed to be, first of all. If it wasn't in the ground, it ain't never going to come out.
Exactly.
So when you plant the ideas internally and you know it internally, you get to honestly know that at some point in time, you're going to hear your vision out loud. You're going to see your vision out loud. You're going to feel it in your hands. You're going to hold that wife or that child. You're going to see your bank account one day and it's not going to say negative $200. It's going to say $1.8 million. Not because it has to, but because it already is you. You know what I mean? Yep. It's a beautiful thing. Come on. So this is what I want to know. Okay, this is what I want to know. Question number 9. Okay. You're preparing to enter the Air Force and experience a new environment. How are you preparing yourself to stay yourself? Look, and it's beautiful. Not stay the same. Like, oh, let me stay the same Armoni Bashay that played for Northwest Panthers and went to X, Y, and Z. Nah, but how are you preparing yourself to stay you, your authentic self? The self that it doesn't matter what externally is happening, there's a you that exists. How are you preparing yourself to stay you during that process?
Probably, like I said, like kind of piggyback off from earlier, just finding things that'll keep me grounded, finding, those songs that keep me locked back into who I am, finding out what I like, first of all, because, you can get around a lot of people and they might try to sway you a certain way, try to persuade you to do something different. But if you know you don't like that, then it's like, okay, no, I'm not going that way. So just trying to learn myself as much as possible and just know what I'm not going for, what I'm going for. Just trying to dive deep into myself and just see, like, okay, what do you really want to be like? Who do you want to be like? Who do you want to be around? And kind of like knowing who I want to talk to, like who I can talk to. So if I ever have the problem of, okay, I'm not myself, hey, I need to talk to you real quick, like, and someone like people I'm around, like like Javon, like Davion, they'll tell me like, hey, bro, like what's going on? Like you ain't yourself, I can tell. Like something's different. So I mean, trying to keep those connections as well, like, of course, but just more self-discovery.
Yeah.
I would say biggest thing, just so I can keep myself at ease, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm not so scattered.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I like that. I do. I like that a lot too. And there is follow-ups, of course. So exiting a comfort zone of home and stability, and you're obviously stability is going to be had, but home and like knownness, what, I just got to make sure it's clear, because I be writing and then I be dipping out. But I think the biggest thing is, how are you going to be able to be fluid enough to experience the new and grow into new, while also remaining grounded in the now and the forever?
I would say be open-minded, but not, kind of like I said, like not like scattered. Like be open-minded, but not like willy-nilly. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go do this. Like if you know that's not a good thing to do, like don't go do it.
Yeah.
But I would say be open-minded, like basic. That's kind of the sense I'm kind of like thinking about, like basic, like be open-minded about, okay, boom, you're gonna have to listen. They're gonna be yelling, but also trying to do my best at whatever it is that I need to do. So I would say those two kind of things I'm trying to.
Ooh, I have a follow-up. How can you separate the experience of them yelling and them yelling at you, even if they're in your face? And I'm not saying they're about to be out here, but the yelling is directed to you. How can you separate, okay, they're yelling at me, I'm not doing well, to they're yelling at this and I'm able to look at that and perceive that objectively? Does that make sense? You know what I mean? How are you able to separate those two so you don't, honestly, for the, one of the 4 agreement laws, how can you not take it personal? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What does that look like for you?
They, like my recruiters, like they always say, like, hey, if someone is like back to basic, they're gonna be doing a lot of yelling.
Yeah.
So they always tell me, like, if they're yelling at you, they're gonna be yelling loud. They're gonna be yelling loud enough so where 40, 50 people can hear them.
Yeah.
So, and what my football coach always told me, Coach Matt, like he was like, man, like don't listen to the tone. Might have been Coach Ed, but like they've always preached, like, don't listen to the tone or the altitude of the voice, listen to the message. Because if you just listen to the tone, like you're gonna break down and like be all shaky and boom, then that's how you have a bad game.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the message, it's like, okay, all right, I need to do this, and that. Stop doing that. All right. Boom, okay. But in there, it's going to be like, okay, everyone can hear you. So sometimes it might make me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm going to just try to take the message and not the tone.
Something I like to do, not only from my personal training experience, but my reality creation experience, is making sure we can provide, when you say I'm a try, I like to actually turn try into an exercise. Okay. I have an exercise idea. Now, you got to start practicing, but when that time comes and you're out there and you're in basic training and they're yelling, it's one thing to hear it on paper, hey, let's not pay attention to the altitude or the tone. Let's pay attention to the message. I would love if you had an exercise in your bag that said, when I'm done with the day and I want to reflect and I was yelled at today, can you write down the message? Because words don't have a tone. Can you write down the message and look at the message without the tone and dissect that message to the point where you're like, I'm probably about to be the greatest officer in here. Why? Because y'all are operating off feelings, like a lot of women do, but men do it too. So I don't like to genderize it, but a lot of people are so emotional that it's very difficult for some people. I've been in some relationships where I'm a very passionate person, but if I love you, and I'm gonna treat you how I treat myself at the end of the day. A lot of women want you to be, and I'm not even gonna say a lot, there's some women or some people that want you to be a little bit more gentle with your message. They're like, hey, I hear what you're saying, but I didn't like how you said it.
Yes.
Okay, my thing is this. My thing is I've had coaches that I've been able to actually practice in my time to dissect the message outside of the tone, especially because I think it was Coach Doodoo Brown.
Okay.
You feel me? I think it was him, but it could have been a plethora of coaches that all just said the same thing and they fit his character build. But he's like, look, if I'm yelling at you, it's because I care. If I stop yelling, let's keep it 100.
Yeah.
If I'm not yelling, that means you're not even worth my energy. You're not even worth the energy that it takes that I got to bring out to get to that level with you.
Yeah.
If I stop yelling at you, you're out of there already.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for you to walk away, right?
Exactly.
So an exercise, going back to it, I would love if you put this exercise in your bag to where you're in basic training, you're being yelled at, and you go back to the barracks or back to the, and you write down the message and separate the tone from the message so that way everybody else is gonna be a little bit more emotional. You're gonna be with the message, and then you're gonna be able to stand on it. And you'll always, because just like you go to the gym a lot, right? You go to the gym all the time. If you had that exercise in your bag, eventually you're gonna do it so automatically that you're gonna unconsciously end up smiling in bro's face when he's yelling at you, and that's gonna make him yell more, and then you're gonna smile more because you know what's going on the whole time. You're like, I hear the message, I hear the message, I hear the message. I'm getting stronger, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting stronger because I'm able to separate the tone and the altitude from the message, and I'm only hearing the message, and I'm happy with the message. I might not have been happy with the tone if I only paid attention to the tone, but the message is building muscle in my character, in my skill set, in everything that I do. I want you to have the exercise, okay?
Okay.
I like that one. We're transitioning over to our last segment, and then we have a closing and reflection segment. So, wisdom and transformation. You said something powerful, okay? God can't bless who you're pretending to be. You probably don't even remember saying this stuff. All right, so check. You said something powerful, okay? God can't bless who you're pretending to be. He can only bless who you are. When did you first realize you had been wearing a mask? When did you first realize that? Ever?
Probably high school.
Yeah.
I actually sat down with my teacher and talked about it because there's that high school people are just so up and down how they feel. You got cliques, you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So it was just a couple of days like I just wasn't feeling like myself, and I was trying to like people please and trying to be this. Just it wasn't something I wasn't, but it's just how I wasn't feeling that day. I wasn't showing my true self that day. So I was just like, man, like this ain't it. And like the mask, it comes on and off. Like that's what I've noticed. Like, of course you can code switch and everything, but like that mask, I've noticed like mask on, mask off. It's something crazy. So that's when I really noticed that. And I don't know if you're gonna ask me this question, but like one thing that I've tried to remember, like who says it? I think Erica Badu says it.
Ooh.
No. Mary J says it. She was like, what'd she say? She said, when you're feeling down, you should not fake it. And then I forget the rest of the words. But like, that song is so powerful to me. Like Mary J,
What song is that?
My Life. Mary J.
Mary J, My Life. Just put it down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
Yeah.
But like, she said, when you're feeling down, you should never fake it. And it's like, you really shouldn't. And that's the, like what we said, like, hey, God can't bless who you're trying to be. Because it's crazy because it made me think too. You know, those days you don't feel like going to practice, or you don't feel like playing that game, or you don't even feel like going to school. That's when like some of the greatest things happen.
Yeah.
Like the day you miss school, they got a pizza party or something. Like it's like dang, like or the day you don't go to practice, shoot, y'all ain't even have to run.
Y'all ain't even run. Like, the only day y'all didn't. We didn't run today.
For real. Like we just scrimmage.
Yeah, have fun.
That's pretty much it. Went to our selected groups and that was it. Like boom, you had a good time. But like, you know, and that kind of ties back into the feelings, like just being consistent what you're doing, but you know, even though you're gonna have your feelings, like don't not let them be known to yourself. That makes sense. Like, because someone, like you said, if someone don't know, like, okay, boom, someone could be feeling this way, then okay, of course they're not gonna know. But like for someone to see it, like that's amazing too. But for you to know, like, okay, like this is how I'm feeling today, I'm not gonna try to like shy away from it. I'm gonna let it be today. Boom. Then that's usually when some great things come along. You could be trying to mask that, and everyone's doing this. Oh yeah, and you just can't. And that'd be tough because it's like then you don't got no energy for tomorrow. Right. When you actually need it. Right. That's just one thing I've noticed.
I like that.
So.
And I think a big question, follow up on that, not on the board, is who you putting the mask on for? For what? Like, why you care so much about Sally, Billy, and Daryl, and Haley, and all them? Because they putting a mask on too. And I think that's a major struggle that I have in this life, is because everybody's lying to themselves and lying to the world, nobody can really connect with each other. You know, I always was trying to be, like, anytime I seen you when you was at work and I would, like, come to see you at the gym, I always try to be very, like, transparent with you. Even though, like, I didn't have to. But I felt like you were the one person that I was seeing in my day that wasn't a part of my, like little, all the extra stuff, that I felt like I should expose myself to this person, at least so somebody knows what's going on with me. And there was days where, you know, I wasn't doing good, and I told you. I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, brother. Like, but it helped, though, because once you feel seen, you feel validated. And then once you feel validated, you feel confident to walk as you are, accepted as you are. And then God can handle that part of you. But if you're over here lying and, I'm so tired of me pulling up to a corner store and me asking the dang clerk how they doing, and they're like, not too bad. No, you're doing terrible. I can feel it. I can feel it. But I ain't gonna be a counselor today. But, you know, if you want to hop on the podcast, you know, we'll talk about it. But no, facts. I love that. I love that. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so tell me this. Just something simple. What's something you're still learning to love about yourself? You're still learning to love it. You know it's there. You know it's a part of you, but it has not been fully embraced to the point where you love it. Talk to me. My iPad getting toasty.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie. But one part of myself I'm still learning to love. I don't know what I wrote down for this.
How'd he get to this question? You wrote something.
What? Do you know what I said?
You want me to go back?
Yeah.
Here, I got you. Hold on. I got you.
Cause I don't know what I said for this.
Hold on.
Cause I know what I wrote down was important, but I
boy.
can't think of it at the moment. What I said, a part of myself that I'm still learning to love. I just know in general I'm still learning to love myself all the way. Because, you know, you go through that kind of identity crisis of what everyone else wants you to be and things like that. Like, I'm still learning to love myself for who I am and who I'm becoming and who God's showing me that I am.
The follow-up question to this is crazy.
Okay, bet that.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. So go ahead and exercise it if you want.
Bet that. But like, yeah, like, they
Hey,
they,
I got
they
it.
come in force.
I'm fruit. So of course a fly gonna come.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Some gonna say, no, you shit. No, I'm fruit, nigga.
Nah, come on now. Talk to him. Talk to him. Hell yeah.
Talk to me though.
But man, yeah, every day like I'm just learning to love myself because kind of like we said earlier, you know, people say things and it's like those things could bounce off in your head all day, all month, all year sometimes. So I mean, just taking each day in stride and of course having your affirmations, you know, your self-talk is important, being in that mind gym.
Ooh, that was hard.
That's
I
definitely
appreciate
important.
that.
Yes, sir.
That mind gym. That's hard. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wrote that down mentally just now. Thank you.
I got a notebook.
I wrote that down. Trust me. Thank you.
But like, yeah, like it's just constant every day. So I mean, I can't pinpoint one thing, but just my whole self.
Yeah.
That self-talk.
Thank you. This question is actually a follow-up to that, but I got you. So people in general, naturally, have come to the conclusion that they have to earn their worth in this world. Like if you're not doing something valuable, I think that's why a lot of people have guilt when they take naps after a little while. They feel guilty for taking rest. They feel guilty for taking time away from that hustle and bustle. And for some reason, because when somebody has a strong voice, whether it's in media or whatever, and they're preaching hustle, 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 grind, 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 and you're like, I'm not in that right now. Naturally, you can't stay in that because you keep tuning into the opposite. Okay, so my question to you is this. That was just a little prelude. Even though all people deal with this, I want to narrow it down to men and young men. It could be older men and younger men. The question is this. Okay, the question is this. What advice do you have for young men who feel like they have to earn their worth still? Period. Little extra that I want to put on it though. Knowing that men don't feel worth anything unless they're doing something to earn it. They don't feel like they're worth the woman until, like a lot of men feel like until they earn a certain level of income, they shouldn't be married. So you have to earn being worthy of this woman that God made for you when God already made you worthy for her. And men feel like they have to earn their value when, as long as you look at God and you give yourself to God, the value is already there. So again, the question is, what advice would you give to young men or older men that still feel like they have to earn their worth?
I would say kind of like what you told me, see where you want to be and give yourself permission to feel that way.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That was important, man.
That's a deep one for me.
Yeah, that whole conversation.
Give that to the people a little bit. So what was that conversation like that we had?
Man, so like, of course, you got a vision for yourself. You might not feel worthy or like worth it right now, but where you're going is, of course, important to yourself. So basically, see where you want to be. What we did a little exercise too. Write it down. Write down your, what was it? Was it pros and cons? It wasn't pros and cons. It was wasn't love and lust. It was.
Yeah, we wrote some. I actually don't remember what we wrote down either, so I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay, but like it was a basic pros and cons list of things that I could do to stay on track, and things that would knock me off track.
Yeah.
So kind of like assets and liabilities.
Yeah.
So things that you're gonna do to stay on track, like you have some goals and you wrote those down and you're getting to them.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a thin line, like to feel worth it to yourself. You're gonna know, okay, if I've crossed the line, that's not aligning with the things that I want to do to get to that end goal.
Yes.
So basically what we said, man, like you can knock off, say you got, I think we wrote down 10.
Yeah.
So you got 10 goals.
Yeah.
Boom. You can knock off 6 of those. And then Once you cross that line,
on the other 4.
yeah, on the other side, like, boom, that knocks off damn near the whole process of what you got going on.
Because now you live on the other side now.
Yeah, because now you live on the other side. It's like you can't live over here and over here, like with God. Like, you can't be on both sides. You can't be lukewarm. Like, you gotta be in it and staying on that path. So I would say, and you told me, man, like, give yourself permission to feel the way you want to feel doing all of these things, because you are that. Like, you can and you will. Like, it's not, no, I'm gonna try. Like, you can and you will. You're gonna do them, and don't cross this threshold of what's not serving my purpose.
Yeah,
that's what we were talking about, to our purpose and things like that. So giving yourself permission to feel that way already is going to give you that confidence to walk like, talk like, be, and do, so you can actually get to that goal that you yourself are going to feel worthy towards and worthy for.
Bro, thank you so much for that, because I have a underlying belief that nothing in this life physically is what we actually want. What we actually want is the emotional state that it'll give us. And so you realize you don't necessarily want the Ferrari or the Beyonce. You just want what the emotional experience of it would be. So imagining that if I could actually get to that emotional state without that physical thing, now I don't have to prove myself, because I already got to the end goal. The end goal was only the emotional state. The only reason why people want to chase the chicken and get to a point of financial stability is because they don't feel internal stability, and they don't have the feeling of what, this is the thing, the money's not real, the car's not real, the people aren't real, you're not real, I'm not real, but the emotions and the frequencies are the only thing that are real. And so when you give yourself permission, like, hey, I know I want to be the president of the United States, but that's not actually what I want. I want the emotional experience of leading the country into the direction that I believe it should be headed in. And if I can feel the emotional experience of being the leader of this country to go in the right direction, I will feel how I want to feel. I didn't need the title. Giving yourself permission to feel the emotions of financial stability. Because if you can feel the emotions of, yo, I got 10 million. Okay, the money doesn't matter. It's the emotions. So now you walk around chest up, confident. Any adversity could come because I could pay for it. But guess what? That's why Jesus died in the first place. Every adversity that came, he been paid for it.
Facts.
There's nothing that you're going to go through that he can't get you out of, that he hasn't already gotten you out of and already paid for. You know, you need new tires. God knows that. Jesus knows that. But you don't know that. And so you're not giving yourself the permission to feel, my tires are brand new. Let's get it. I'm good. Now I can roll down the road. You're like, I don't got no new tires, nigga. And I don't know what it feel like to have it. So I'm stressing. You see me in my chair right now? This is how people feel inside.
Yeah.
I'm scared because I don't know when these tires are gonna blow and I can't buy another one. Knowing that Jesus was already gonna help you on the side of the road when it blew out anyway.
Yeah.
It's gonna blow out, bro. And he gonna be there to help you.
Yep.
Enjoy the ride, because it don't matter. I appreciate that. Now we are on our closing and reflection question 13.
Okay.
Out of 14.
Yep.
We asked hella questions. I told you it was gonna triple, right?
Nah, for real.
Easily quadrupled.
Yeah.
All right. So closing and reflection. If someone watching this feels like they're not enough yet to start. So I'm gonna ask one more time. If someone watching this feels like they are not enough yet to start, and when I say start, that's start what they supposed to start. They know, you know, I know. What would you say to them right now? They don't feel like they're enough to start. They don't feel like they're enough to start this podcast with just an iPhone. They don't feel like they're enough to start their YouTube channel, or to start preparing for college, or to start preparing to be an airman, or to start preparing to be a father or a mother or a husband. When somebody doesn't feel like they're ready to start, what advice would you give them? based off of your experience of starting things that you didn't feel like you were ready to start?
I may go off a little bit, but
That's
I'm gonna
fine.
say this.
Go crazy.
Like-
Go off, matter of fact.
Like, life's gonna still move, things are still gonna come. So it's better to prepare now so you have some type of experience for when it gets here than to get there or for it to show up and you're there with nothing. So I mean, kind of like what we were just talking about, you want, say you're starting to Twitch or whatever, you want 1 million subs, but you got to start somewhere. Like, but the thing is, you gotta, like we said, you gotta give yourself permission to feel like, hey man, I got the mill, boom, that's how I'm feeling. That energy, kind of like we were talking about earlier too, that organic energy, people are gonna notice that. Who's gonna notice it? Who don't, okay, they don't need to be here anyways for right now. So until they want to, because some people don't notice things until they want to.
The people that don't see it are there to test you. The people that do see it are meant to push you. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say. The people that don't see it are testing you if you see it. But the people that do see it are like, keep going. But you got to have both.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Facts. That's kind of like what we were talking about earlier too.
Yeah.
Like we said, okay, boom, somebody in the gym who's working out, they're gonna be like, I see you. But someone who's not, they're gonna have a different type of mindset towards it.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like just, I hate to do it, but like Nike, just do it. Like, like just do it.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, because just do it and give yourself permission really to feel like you got it already and just keep walking in that. Because opportunity is going to meet that preparation at some point. That those wavelengths are going to eventually catch up to you. You're eventually going to walk up to somebody with the same wavelength that you're on, with maybe 1.5 million.
Exactly.
Hey, hop on stream.
Exactly.
Boom. You never know.
Exactly.
But if you wasn't walking on that wavelength, then you wouldn't have even gotten that connection.
Exactly.
So
that's amazing.
Yes,
And it kind of redefines or clears up the law of attraction, where when you already are giving yourself permission. Let's go back to the Twitch stuff because it's so new and everybody knows it, right? You want 1 million subs on Twitch, and this is gonna go for all our Twitch streamers. So this is a Twitch streamer clip that we're about to create, basically. You feel me? You want 1 million you want 1 million subs on Twitch, but instead of you giving yourself permission to already experience the energy that you would have, the confidence you would have, the entertaining stuff that you would do when you do have 1 million subs, instead of you doing that, you're acting like the one with 0 subs. And so you do things and perform on your Twitch like you have 0 subs. You're doing 0 sub, you're giving 0 sub energy.
Exactly.
Right? But when you want 1 million subs and you give yourself permission to feel and experience the things that you would do when you have 1 million subs, what happens is you start to attract, literally, you don't go to it, it comes to you. You start to attract the activities, the guests, the people that would come with that same energy. You know what I mean? To the point to where, Reggie who be messing with Kai, these are short people. I'm just gonna throw it out there. They're short, but they have big energy.
Yep.
Very big energy. And their energy attracts people. It attracts things. So like the Streamer University that just launched off, like people got to go to that opportunity because they planted the seed a long time ago within themselves. They had already committed to, Kai Cenat didn't come up with Streamer University before you committed to streaming. You committed to streaming every day and being entertaining, and then God gave Kai Cenat a goal or a vision to do Streamer University, and because of your daily commitment and your daily entertainment, you attracted an invitation to Streamer University out of only 100 and something people that went, and now in 3 days. What looked like 3 days, even though you've been streaming for maybe 6 months, 2 years, whatever. In 3 days time, you were able to catapult to a totally new reality in 3 days. Jesus rose. So all I'm saying is,
Amen. Amen.
so all I'm saying is you have to already give yourself permission to be that, and please understand that God is going to plant seeds in other people to confirm that and to send you there. So yeah, it might take you 6 months to go from, 10 subscribers to 1,000 subscribers, but in 3 days, you're going to go from 1,000 to 100,000 in 3 days. Just know it's going to come, but you don't have to look for when. Just feel it now. It's already there. It's already in the ground. So you got to be the farmer. It's already in the ground. Beautiful. Thank you for that answer.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. Last question.
Let's do it.
Last question is this, okay? We're going to talk to your heart for a second, okay? It's kind of like a 3-part.
Okay.
What do you want your legacy to say? Not just about what you did, but how you made people feel when they saw your growth.
Inspirational. If someone can look at my life or be around me for however long and be like, okay, he's always had this mindset of, I can do whatever I put my mind to. I can do that too. Because if I can do it, that's cool. But if I can let somebody else know that they can do it as well, then that's kind of important. Like, for me, the next person, and the next person, because they're going to remember how I've made them feel. Then organically, they're going to feel that way, kind of like we're talking about. They're going to feel that way. They're going to go through the motions as if, and become, and through becoming, then eventually it's going to trickle to someone else too. So be the best I can be, of course, and try to let others they can as well.
You know why that's huge?
What's up?
I'm going to give you something. I'm going to tell you why that's huge. That's huge because only man knows how many seeds are in an apple, but only God knows how many apples are in a seed. And so by you allowing yourself to say, look, I want my legacy to be a seed for somebody else, God's going to multiply that seed times 50 kajillion, because the seed that maybe I've been able to plant into your mind from years ago has multiplied, has probably touched friends and family and strangers alike. And the seed that your legacy is going to have is going to multiply for generations. By you being able to leave a legacy of, I can do anything I put my mind to, and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I'm going to prove what that looks like with my physical life. But it comes from, don't watch my physical, watch what I believe. Okay, so, and Myron Golden, somebody I listen to, he says, if you truthfully want to be successful in any arena, look to see who's the most successful and model what they believe. You don't have to model what they do, because what they do comes from what they believe. So ask Kobe, was it hard to be the MVP and win this and win that? He said, absolutely not. And then you ask why? Because I outworked everybody. I committed myself more than everybody. I don't believe it was hard because I put my belief in my work and in my commitment. I made my entire 3-story house of state of being a champion, Mamba mentality. It's not hard. It's not difficult. Life doesn't have a level of difficulty. It has levels of truth or lies. It has levels of belief or unbelief. There's nothing difficult. It's only as difficult as you think it is, but it's also only as difficult as you commit to it. You ask Stevie Wonder, is it hard to play the piano? He's gonna say no.
Facts.
But you ask Montre Brown if it's hard, I'm gonna say hell yeah. Why? Because I don't practice, I don't play, so it's only difficult because I don't commit myself to it. Can you commit yourself to one woman? No, because you don't try to. You feel me? At some point, ask somebody who's successful in an area of life and really ask their belief system. So for you, I would love for me personally. So this is a selfish want of mine.
Okay.
But I would love to be able to pick up off of your belief system of your life and not the physical things that you kind of manifested, but more or less what place did you come from when you manifested those? That's what I want. Meaning there's a place where you should exist more consistently, and there's a place where you should probably keep your focus more consistently. Because that,
You seen that?
yeah, that motherfucker flew. It's gone though. But yeah, so just understanding that everything that you do is coming from a place of belief. And if somebody can model anything, if they model your belief system, they can do what you do times multiplied amounts. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you have any words for the people as we wrap this up? Just, it doesn't even matter, just general. Anything, man. Because this was huge, so I appreciate it.
Always believe in yourself and bet on yourself. And like that one video said, don't quit today, because tomorrow you might win. You never know. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I appreciate it. How'd you feel today? How'd you feel having this interview?
Great.
Great?
Yes, sir.
Would you recommend somebody else come too?
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm beyond grateful. I feel like we put so much into that I don't even have an outro. I just want to say thank you so much. I'm full. I'm satisfied.
Same.
You know what I mean? I'm happy. So let's just do a prayer.
Yep.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to come together with you, come together in you, and bring your presence to my mind, Armoni's mind, and the minds of the people. Please give people the clarity of what it means to come to you. You're not a man or a woman outside of them. You're not some man in the sky. You are the visions that come to the heart, the confidence to know I manifest my reality through God, and God will provide because God has no limits. I may have limits if I believe in them, but if I believe in the infinite, my life is infinite. Keep everybody safe, keep everybody in love, and bring everybody to you. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
That's fire.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, bro.
Most definitely.
That was crazy. That was fire. That's going to be the best one that I got yet. On Hood. Now, extra confirmation. Let's go.